as I was strapping my son into his car seat today, and I closed the car door, suddenly, boom! Yep, wasn't too good. Closed the car door right onto my finger without myself realizing. There was a lot of confusion in that moment as I was doing it. You know, with the ambulance going by, some car alarm was going off, and there was so many things happening. I just got confused. Now, the average atheist would be like, yeah, I mean, it was just random. It just, you weren't paying attention, obviously. Or the godly approach. Well, Baruch Hashem, oh God, that happened. There was a meaning behind it. I was thinking, I said, you know what? Why get upset? Why rant and talk about it and speak to my neighbors? Oh, did you hear? I hit my car. That. My finger, this, that. Instead of doing that, I said, you know what? There's a reason behind it. Obviously, it hurt. I'm not going to lie, you know. I didn't just, sulk in silence, but it was tough. But I understood that it was a meaning behind it. I said, you know what? Why go crazy the whole day, talk about it, ruin my day, a little finger? Okay, yeah, it's going to heal on its own. I put a bandage on it and understood there was a higher power. There was a meaning behind every little thing that happens in our lives. You know, our rabbis tell us that a person shouldn't just believe in God because he believes in God, he believes in God, as we explained in the last lesson. We said, don't say, oh, your dad was Jewish, so you're Jewish too. He davened 3 times a day, he prayed in synagogue, so guess what? I do too. Don't have that approach. Rather, it's our opportunity. We have the obligation to go and search for God on our own and believe because we believe, not because anyone tells us to. Now, how do we know this? What's the proof? We say in Shemona Esrei every single day, 3 times a day, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Whoa, hold on. Isn't that redundant? Why are we saying the God of 3 times after each name? Wouldn't it just make more sense to say the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Why is it the God of God? What's the point of just repeating it? So Jewish wisdom explains, this is amazing. You are going to love it. Jewish wisdom explains that since Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov are 3 forefathers, they didn't just believe in God because their father, grandfather, neighbor, or sister, brother, someone else believed in God, so therefore they too believed in God. Rather, Yitzchak, let's take him for an example. Rather, he didn't believe in God because he didn't say, oh, my dad, Abraham, Avram, he's such a long beard. He was a smart guy. He prays. He learns. He has a connection with. He probably is right. He knows what he's talking about. You know what? I'll believe in God too because he did. And just like Yaakov, he didn't believe in God because, oh, my father and grandfather both believe in God. Rather, each one of the forefathers, they didn't just believe it because their own father or grandfather or relative believed in God. Rather, they themselves found God and then understood to serve him. As we know, Avram Avinu, thousands of years ago, what did he do? He looked into the stars. He said, who was the creator of this? He looked at the moon, the sun, the trees, the entire world. Who created this? It couldn't be. It was just boom, a big bang, and then everything was created. You know, someone once approached the famous astronomer, Fred Hoyle. Yeah, you never heard of him, but he was still famous. And he told him, Fred, the world just happened by chance. To which Fred, this astronomer, he replied a beautiful answer. He said, the chance that higher life forms have emerged by chance is comparable to a tornado swinging and storming through a junkyard that it might go and assemble a Boeing 747. Could you imagine? A random tornado hitting some random old junkyard somewhere and creating out of the mixture a Boeing 747, beautifully, perfectly all the parts together? Not possible. And he says the same thing. The world couldn't, with all the complexities that the world has, the human body, take the human body alone, the digestive system, our brain, that we're still learning about all these complex organisms and organs in our body. It's so complex how everything works in sync together, back and forth. Just learn about it and you'll understand how it's not possible that suddenly, boom, world was created, the human body was created, animals, bears, this, that, everything. No, there had to be, it was a higher power. It wasn't just random. Nothing is just random. By the way, FYI, there are 1 million parts that go into a wing, just the wing of a Boeing 747. Next time you fly in a plane, I hope I've made you even more nervous than you already are. So in conclusion, from what we learned today, we understand that each one of us, yes, me and you too, have an obligation to go and search and find proof and evidence that really God created the world and that God really exists. Don't just say God exists because my dad, my grandfather, they were Jewish. They said God exists, so I also say God exists. Don't just do. Think. Does it make sense? How is it? Back and forth. Think about it. And once you know God exists, then and only then can you start to have EMUNA. Number two, what we discussed today was we said that the whole theory of the Big Bang, the Big Boom, the world just got created because, yeah, it randomly got created. It just happened to be. Nonsense. We knocked that off. It's not possible. The world is so complex. Just learn about everything, every organism, every being, every aspect of this world, and you'll understand how with everything in its complex form, not possible to just be created with boom and that's it.